Does your social anxiety grow through the roof around women? And no matter how hard you try to be comfortable and at ease, it's like something completely takes over you. You lose total control, and it ends up being a super awkward interaction with women. Now, in this video, I want to talk about why that's happening to you, why you are feeling like you lose total control. And then at the end of the video, I want to talk about how to get your power back and show you how you can be completely comfortable and at ease around women. So allow me to introduce myself. My name is Ruben, and I used to suffer from social anxiety pretty much my whole life. I was able to overcome it a few years ago, and now I help other men fully overcome it as well. Now, going back to this whole super awkward energy, super awkward nervousness and intense nervousness around women. Full disclosure, I never got completely at ease, and have the ability to just stay in my power with women until after I got married. So as I filmed this video, I'm 36 years old. But I was never comfortable around women when I was single. When I was going to clubs and bars and living that crazy social life, that would be when I was 17. I had a fake ID. So I had a fake ID. I was going to the clubs and the bars like 17 to about 25. 17 about 25. But I was never comfortable speaking to women. It would always be an extremely awkward exchange. Even if the woman was receptive to me, I would be super awkward, just blanking out, not knowing what to say. I was always addicted to porn, and I carried a lot of shame about that. So, I was addicted to porn all the way from like when I was a teenager, right? So all the way from when I was a teenager, all the way until my 30s, I was addicted to porn. So I carried a lot of shame about porn, and it colored my interactions with women. It just made me super just awkward, just really, I think the perfect word to describe it is fearful. I was so fearful and ashamed around women. Now, it got so bad. It was actually really bad. I remember when I was in my 20s, it was really bad, and it became such an issue, like such an awkward issue, that I wanted to overcome it. And I went to like a pickup, it was like a seminar. I don't know. It's kind of like a seminar where they introduce, like they bring you in, and then it's like spend like an hour, 2 hours. They tell you about their program and what they do. And it's like, they teach you their techniques and all that stuff. And the leaders are kind of like, oh, you can master this. You can master picking up women. And for example, they had like one tip. It's like, if you talk to one girl, she's going to seem like the center of the world to you. But if you talk to like 20, you know what I mean? That means you're being abundant, and she's not going to matter so much. And then you're going to gain all this confidence because you have all these numbers. And, it's like, after I remember that night, or after that like mini seminar or whatever they had, it was like, all right guys, so like here's the next step, join our boot camp. And I was like, yeah, it wasn't for me. It was not for me. It never resonated with me, and so I never got good at that kind of stuff. And so I wrote an ebook about coming clean, getting sober off of porn. Underneath the porn was like social anxiety, like crazy, severe social anxiety. So I go into my story. You can read about my story, everything I went through, everything I tried, and then what I finally unlocked, what I finally discovered that helped me overcome the social anxiety, which was really the core, which was right, like the porn and stuff. That was just a symptom, but to get to the core, the social anxiety, that was the really important step. And so you can download that and read about what you need to uncover, what you need to understand to fully unlock this thing. Understand it on a deep level, deep in your psyche, what you need to overcome it. So you can download that, read through that. Now, going back to the social anxiety and that super awkwardness with with women, it prevented me from so much in my life. I missed out on a ton because of the social anxiety. Even with my relationship with my wife, it prevented me from being vulnerable. It prevented me from connecting with her on a deeper level. And we were together for years. And it also prevented me from just getting that good feminine nurturing, that good energy from women that they bring. It just prevented me from being able to accept that into my life. In career, think about career, like the women on your teams, the women in the workforce, women in powerful positions. It affected me everywhere, and it held me back from so much. Now I want to get into why you feel completely powerless, why you lose complete control of yourself around women. And I think there's a good study that I want to talk about that's going to it's just going to tie this whole thing all together. So they did a study, it's called the Capilano Bridge Study, or Capilano Suspension Bridge Study. Basically what the study did, it was two bridges. There were two bridges. One bridge, picture one side of the bridge, or one bridge. One bridge is just like you're walking on the sidewalk, completely stable. You're walking on pavement, completely safe. You are comfortable, at ease, walking on this bridge. The other bridge, it's shaky. It's like 250 feet above the ground. It is made of wood. There's pieces missing. It's unstable. It's shaking, and you're pretty much in survival trying to walk over this second bridge. Okay, so they sent men down the super safe bridge, and they sent men down the second bridge, the super shaky one. And what they did is they sent out an attractive woman pretending like she was doing a survey, and she met the men on both bridges. What they found is the men, in terms of attraction, in terms of being attracted to that woman, it was astronomically higher on the bridge, on the shaky bridge. The shaky bridge that triggered that physiological, those survival mechanisms in the men. The attraction was rated as astronomically higher here. The men who were in survival and coupled that with that attraction, they made a way stronger association up here with that feminine energy and that attraction. Far more greater up here. It was imprinted into their brains in a way more impactful way. And so what you need to recognize is if you feel like you're in these interactions with women and you just lose complete control and you feel like you completely lose your power, it's because your natural level of attraction, your biological response, is coupled with fear. And that's what causes you to lose control. That's what causes you to feel like you're completely powerless, right? Because you are feeling fearful, completely fearful. And when you're feeling that level of fear, there's a completely different physiological response than your natural level of attraction over here, right? When you feel fear, your body's dumping adrenaline into your blood. Your body's dumping cortisol into your blood. You are completely in a different state. And that's why you get that unnatural level of attraction, okay? And this reminds me of one of my clients I was working with. When we were working together, he kept explaining to me he would feel like he lost complete control of himself whenever he saw an attractive woman. It's like something took over him, something took over his body, and he would just turn into this kind of like staring. He described it as like he was almost like a puppy dog. He would just lose complete control of himself. And in session, so like when we were doing our coaching calls, what we got down to is, right, so like one of the situations was like he was in Home Depot, right? Home Depot sees this attractive woman, loses complete control of what he's doing, forgets what he's in there for. And what we explored was I got him to really sense into what he was feeling in those moments, what he was really feeling here. If you're feeling fear-based emotions, you'll always feel a knot here in your solar plexus. Always. A knot here and usually in your throat. So I got him to really sense into what he was feeling. And when we got to the root, when we got to what was driving it, right? There's always a painful emotion that drives these fears. And so how we work on these emotions is always painful emotion, fear, fear, and then the fight or flight, or that sort of behavior, that symptom that comes up, like losing control, complete control. And so what we did is we went down to the behavior, we explored the fear, and then we went down to the painful emotion. What it came down to is this client, he always used to be shamed by his mom, always shamed constantly, over and over and over by his childhood. He was constantly shamed by his mom. And basically when we was coming in contact with attractive women, they were mirroring that kind of feminine energy that he was used to in his childhood, and it was triggering deep shame inside him. So then he would lose control. So do you see what's happening here? It's not a normal attraction. It's because he's feeling the women are mirroring a painful emotion inside, and that painful emotion is actually compelling him to act in a certain way. So the key here, guys, is whenever you feel, if you feel compelled, which means like you're forced, you feel completely forced into a certain type of behavior, like you have no control over yourself, there is a frightened part of your personality that's driving your behavior. That frightened part is driven by a painful emotion, right? The shame. And it may not be shame in your case, but I'm saying in this case, it was shame. Shame, fear, behavior. And I could totally relate. I had to work on a ton of similar issues just like that. For example, if my attraction was always to women with a hard gaze. So they call this a hard gaze. So if their gaze is really hard, like their eyeballs are almost popping out a bit like this, as opposed to a soft gaze where their eyes are kind of softened back, that was what I was attracted to. Why? Because the hard gaze is linked to trauma. Okay. So every time I wouldn't even know why, but I would just be attracted to women with these hard gazes, until I learned that basically what I was doing is I was trying to relive trauma. We were always attracted to what we're familiar with, right? And so those hard gazes, what they did is they triggered the same emotions that I was pretty much addicted to, right? Inside. Internal emotions, the internal drugstore. Those internal emotions that I was so familiar with that I wanted to feel. And how did that come out? In that hard gaze, those eyeballs just almost popping out of the socket and staring at you. That's what I was attracted to. But once I was able to work through those issues, now it's like, if I see that hard gaze now, it's like, whoa. Like, get that shit away from me, because I don't want to be around it anymore, because I don't want that trauma. I don't want that, I don't want to be an outlet for somebody to relive their trauma either, right? So I'm not in that energy anymore. Therefore, I'm not attracted to that same type of, same trauma, that same type of painful emotion. So I hope that makes sense, guys, that if you really want to get your power back, then you got to really start sensing in these moments that you feel like you lose control. Start to be aware, start to realize it's coupled with a painful emotion. It's coupled with fear-based emotions, and that's why you lose control. And so the more you sense into the sensations here and here, which reflect the emotions you're feeling inside, when you start going internal, instead of lashing out and just focusing on what's happening in the external, you do that more and more, and each interaction that you do, it's going to lose power over you, right? It's going to gain less and less power over you, and that's how you're going to break the cycle. That's how you decouple your baseline attraction levels from the fear-based emotions, right? You want to completely sever the tie. You want to decouple it and heal what's over here. Now, there's a book, it's called Think and Grow Rich, Napoleon Hill. And it's like the all-time best time business book. This is interesting. It's a business book, and Napoleon Hill states that men rarely become successful before the age of 40 for this reason. They haven't figured out their baseline level of sex energy, and they haven't figured out how to use it in a constructive way. That's how powerful this thing is when it's coupled with fear-based emotions. And it's going to be going back to that statement, men rarely achieve success before 40, like true success, step into their true power before 40. It's really important to heal this. It's really important to get to the root, to get to the bottom of this, because, you want to thrive in your career, you want to thrive in your relationships, you want to thrive in your business, whatever you're doing. This energy is going to serve you in the most profound way, because it is the highest energy. It's the highest vibration you can feel as a male. And if you can learn how to separate it from fear-based emotions and channel it into something positive in your life, you're going to be thriving in your business. You're going to be thriving in your relationships. You're going to be thriving in your career and in your health. And everything's going to fall together once you really use this energy, this beautiful, natural, feminine energy, to make the world a better place and to serve yourself and to serve the world. All right, guys. So if you need a little bit more help with this is a tricky one. It is a really tricky one. I get it. It's a really tricky one. So if you need more help with this, what you can do is join my private Facebook group. We got an amazing group of guys in there. You can join the group. They're in there. They're supporting each other. They're witnessing each other's healing, and they're there to hold space for each other. I'm in there. You can ask me questions. You can have my support as well. So you're free to join the group. And if you want even more help with this, what you can do is I've made some free training for you. I'll link that below the video as well, along with the private Facebook group. And it goes further into how to heal those fear-based emotions, the system that we use, and how you can completely heal it so you don't get triggered in the same way moving forward. All right, guys, so I hope that helps. No human being should ever have that type of power over you. All right? It is extremely important to stay in your power, even when it comes to your sex energy. That's yours. Hold it close, hold it dear to you. Use it for positive things in your life and stay in your power, guys. All right? I'll talk to you later. Peace.